Hello everyone and welcome to Who versus Whom. First, let's quickly review what clauses are. Remember, all clauses must have at least an actor and at least an action working together in some way. A lot of times it's also nice to have an answer as well. What does that mean? Well, the friends could easily be the actor of a clause. The friends have to do something now. What is their action? Well, they fought. Now we could stop there. We could say the friends fought, put a period down and be done. But like I said, it's nice to sometimes give your readers an answer. So the friends fought whom? Well, they fought each other. Now we have a clause. This technically is also called an independent clause, and it can function as a simple sentence. The question is, when the words who and whom show up in a sentence, when is it who and when is it whom? Well, if it's functioning as the actor of the clause, if it has some kind of action attached to it, that's when it is who. If it functions as the answer of the clause, in other words, if it has no action attached to it, that's when it's whom. Let's look at some examples. Who goes there? Well, who is clearly doing something. So it is the actor, it is going. So in this case, we use who, not whom. She left with whom? In this sentence, she is the actor doing the leaving. Whom is doing nothing. So since it's the answer, it's whom, not who. In this next example, who calls? Well, who is clearly the actor. So it's who. To whom did you give this? In this case, you is the actor. You did give what, this, to whom is doing nothing, so we treat it as the answer of the sentence. Just be careful, when there are clauses inside larger sentences, it's the internal clause that you need to focus on, not the entire sentence. It's how the who or whom is functioning inside that internal clause that allows you to decide whether or not you're using the actor or the answer form. Here's what I mean. Whoever is out there is going to get in trouble. Now, this is an entire sentence. The actor of the sentence is whoever is out there. That's a dependent clause. What is it doing? Is going, and what to get in trouble. So this is your entire sentence, but I'm not worried about the whole sentence. I'm worried about just the clause whoever is out there. And in that clause, whoever is doing something, whoever is being. So because it has an action, it's whoever, not whomever. In this next example, give the slice of pizza to whomever you wish to give it to. In the clause, whomever you wish to give it to, you is doing the action of wishing. Whomever is doing nothing. So because whomever is doing nothing, that's what's whomever, not whoever. In the next example, give this slice of pizza to whoever wants it. It's almost the same sentence, but remember, the clause, whoever wants it, has an actor, and that actor, whoever, is doing something. They are desiring something. They are wanting something. So because it has an action, it's whoever. Go see who calls at the door. Well, here again, the clause, who calls at the door. That's what we're focused on. Who is doing something? They're calling, so it's the actor. And finally, he is the boy who we think is guilty. This is a tricky one. Yes, we is the entity that is doing the thinking, but who is also doing something? Who is being guilty. So because who gets an action in there, even though it's broken up by we think, it still has the action, and that's why it's who and not whom. It's the same with these guys. If it's he, she, I, we, they, it's the actor of the clause. If it's him, her, me, us, them, it's the answer of the clause. So what happens if you're trying to decide between he and him and she and her? Well, it's the same thing. He left the store. Since it is the actor in this case, since he is the actor, we use he, not him. Bob left the store with him. Well, in this case, him is doing nothing. So that is why it is him and not he. I arrived at the store after she left. Well, she is clearly doing an action, so we use she, not her. I arrived at the store with her. In this case, her is doing nothing, so we use the answer form. And finally, be careful. I arrived at the store after she. Of course, we want to say I arrived at the store after her, right? That's the only way to put this, right? But that would be wrong because there is an implied action here. It might be invisible, but she is actually doing something also. She is arriving. I arrived at the store after she arrived. That is why you have to use she instead of her, because of the implied action. Yes, it might sound a little formal, I arrived at the store after she, but that is the way to put it because it is functioning as the actor of the implied clause. What about I versus me? Well, I saw the movie. I is doing something. It is seen, so we use the actor form. She saw the movie with me. Well, she is clearly the one seeing the movie. Me is there, but me is doing nothing in the sentence. So that's why it is the answer form, me, not the actor form, I. Bob left after I left. Well, in this case, I am doing something. I am leaving. So again, we use I, not me. Bob left with me. In this sentence, we could not insert the verb. It wouldn't make sense if we said Bob left with me left. So, since it is the answer, it's me and not I. She looks better than I. Be careful. What is the implied verb here? She looks better than I look, right? So because there is an implied clause, it's I, not me. The culprit was he. This one could be very tricky. Whenever you have an equal sentence, the culprit was he. In other words, if you can rewrite this sentence, say he was the culprit, well, they are sharing the verb. They are sharing the action was. The culprit is doing the action of being, but so is he. So we could switch these last two sentences around. And because they share the action, they both get the action. And that's why you would have to use he, not him, because he is technically doing something. With we versus us, remember we is the actor and us is the answer. We left earlier. We is doing the action of leaving, so it's the actor form. They left with us. You can't add an action to us. There is no action, so it's us and not we. It's the answer. They left when we left. And here's one more example of we doing something. Even though it comes at the end of the sentence, we is leaving, right? So because it's we left, we use the actor form we, not the answer form us. They versus them. They are in the car. Are is a to be verb, so they has an action attached to it, right? So we give it the actor form, not the answer form. The car belongs to them. Them has no action, so we treat it as an answer. I saw them driving away. Be careful. Driving is not a verb. In order to function as a verb, it would need some kind of helper in front of it, like is driving or are driving or were driving, but doesn't have a helper. So whenever you see these ing words, don't assume they're verbs. A lot of times they're not. So in this case, them has no action, so we treat it as an answer. I watched them as they drove away. Again, them has no action, so it's them, not they. However, they does have an action, right? They drove, so we treat it as an actor here, not an answer. So just remember, if they're functioning as actors in the clause, you use he, she, I, we, they, or who. If they function as answers in the clause, you use him, her, me, us, them, or whom. Thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to make any kind of comment in the comment section. And if you like this video, please subscribe to Grammatically Correct. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.